Have you ever wondered why so many older adults wake up at 3 a.m. and can't seem to fall back asleep? You might lie there in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, wondering what's wrong with your body or your mind. The truth is, this is more common than you think, and it's not just a random habit or an unavoidable part of aging. In this video, we're exploring 5 powerful reasons why people tend to wake up around 3 a.m. as they grow older, and what those early morning wake-ups may be trying to tell you. Each reason reveals something deeper about your body, your health, and your life experience. By the end of this video, you may see your sleep in a whole new light. These aren't just surface-level explanations either. They're rooted in real physiology, psychology, and the natural rhythms of aging that most people aren't even aware of. We'll talk about changes in hormones, sleep patterns, health challenges, and even emotional or social influences that could be quietly working behind the scenes. And we'll do it in a way that's honest, empowering, and deeply respectful of the life you've lived so far. So if you've ever found yourself waking up around 3 a.m. and asking, why now? You're in the right place. Stay tuned until the end, because what you learn here might not only help you sleep better, it could help you better understand and appreciate what your body is going through. Number 1. Reduced melatonin production. One of the clearest reasons older adults wake up in the middle of the night, often around 3 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin production that comes with age. Melatonin is the hormone that helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle. Often called the body's internal clock, it plays a key role in helping you fall asleep and stay asleep. When you were younger, your body likely produced a strong, steady amount of melatonin each night. That's what helped you enjoy long stretches of deep, uninterrupted rest. But as the years go by, your body gradually produces less melatonin, and that change can have a real impact on how soundly you sleep. You might still fall asleep easily at night, especially if you've had a full day or a calming evening routine. But by the early morning hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., maybe even 4 a.m., your body's melatonin levels can dip too low to keep you in that restful state. You may find yourself waking up, not because of a loud noise or a dream, but simply because your brain is slowly shifting back toward wakefulness. Without enough melatonin to hold you in sleep, waking up becomes more likely. This isn't something you're doing wrong, and it doesn't mean your body is broken. It simply means your internal chemistry is changing with age. And what's more, your bedroom environment can make this effect even worse. Even small amounts of light, from a street lamp outside your window, a blinking clock on your nightstand, or a hallway light under the door, can suppress melatonin even further. Your body also becomes more sensitive to environmental triggers as you age, which can make that 3 a.m. wake-up feel all the more frustrating. Take, for instance, Harold, who's now 72 and always considered himself a good sleeper. Lately, though, he finds himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m. most nights. He doesn't feel anxious or upset, just fully alert, as if it's time to start the day. Once he understood that this wasn't a failure on his part, but rather a normal part of aging tied to melatonin decline, he stopped blaming himself. Instead, he started adjusting his habits. Harold now keeps his bedroom darker at night, avoids screens for an hour before bed, and takes a brief evening walk to help reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These small changes help signal to his body that it's still nighttime. And while he still occasionally wakes up early, he's learned to work with his body instead of fighting it. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into compassion, and it helps you make wiser choices about how you care for yourself at night. Number 2, shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another significant reason older adults tend to wake up around 3 a.m. is due to a natural shift in the body's internal clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythms start to shift forward, which means we may begin to feel sleepy earlier in the evening. and wake up earlier in the morning. You might notice yourself nodding off during a late-night movie or waking up at dawn without an alarm, even on days when you wish you could sleep longer. This shift isn't just a matter of habit, it's deeply biological, and it often becomes more pronounced with age. In your younger years, your body's rhythm may have aligned with a later bedtime and a natural wake-up closer to sunrise. But as this rhythm shifts, your sleep window moves forward. You may find yourself falling asleep at 9 p.m. or even earlier without meaning to. And by the time 3 a.m. rolls around, your body may already feel like it's had enough rest. That's why you might find yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, even though it's still dark outside. It's not insomnia. It's not restlessness. It's just your body working on a new schedule. Think of it like a clock that's been gently reset over time, ticking a little earlier with each passing season. This shift isn't harmful, but it can be frustrating, especially if your family routines, social life, or personal preferences don't match up with this new rhythm. There's also a quiet psychological side to this change. Many older adults live in quieter households or spend more time alone. That peaceful environment can amplify the body's signals to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant activity or noise that once delayed bedtime, your system begins its nightly shutdown process much sooner. And if you're no longer working full-time or sticking to a structured daily routine, the lack of external time cues like meetings, commutes, or evening social plans can make your internal sleep shift even stronger. Let's take Charles, age 68, who's recently retired. He often eats dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches TV for a bit, and heads to bed by 9 p.m. Sure enough, by 3 a.m., his body is naturally ready to wake up. At first, Charles thought he had developed insomnia, but once he learned about advanced sleep phase syndrome, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It was simply rescheduled. Charles made a few gentle adjustments. He started reading a book under warm light in the evenings, took a light walk after dinner, and occasionally called his daughter for a chat before bed. These small social and sensory cues helped stretch his sleep window, gradually shifting his wake-up time closer to morning. The result? Fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups and a deeper sense of alignment with his daily life. This natural shift in sleep cycle is something many older adults experience, but few talk about. Understanding it removes the guilt and confusion and offers a more compassionate way to work with your body, not against it. So, if you're waking up around 3 a.m. and it feels like you've already had a full night's rest, your body may simply be on an earlier schedule now. And once you know that, you can begin to shape your routine in ways that support your well-being. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue making content to inform and inspire you. Number 3, physical discomfort and health-related interruptions. Another common reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is the body's quiet response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to surface during the stillness of the night. As we age, it becomes more likely that we'll experience chronic conditions or subtle discomforts, many of which don't shout for attention but whisper just loud enough to disturb sleep. You might not even notice them during the day. But in the silence of the night, things like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a twinge in your back can gently nudge you out of a deep sleep. Take arthritis, for example. Lying in one position for hours can create stiffness and pressure that builds up over time. You might fall asleep pain-free, but a few hours in, that joint discomfort wakes you up without warning. Others may deal with acid reflux, especially if dinner was too late or they reclined too soon after eating. That slow burn in the chest can sneak in during the early hours and pull you out of rest. Even smaller things, like dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a slight change in room temperature, can trigger light awakenings around 3 a.m. These interruptions aren't necessarily cause for alarm, but they are signals worth listening to, your body's way of asking for support, comfort, or minor adjustments. Support, better health, and deeper rest. Waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, but it can also be a quiet nudge to tune in, check in, and make small adjustments that support better sleep and greater well-being. Number 4, lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful but often overlooked reason many older adults wake up around 3 a.m. lies in the daily habits that slowly reshape the body's internal rhythm. As we age, our routines often shift. We may eat dinner earlier, wind down sooner, and engage in less physical activity during the day. These changes might seem small, but over time, they send signals to your body that the night should begin earlier. Naturally, if you go to sleep earlier, your body finishes its rest earlier too. It's not just a coincidence. Your daily rhythm, the timing of light, movement, meals, and mental stimulation all play a quiet but powerful role in regulating when your body thinks it's time to sleep and wake up. Take retirement, for example. Many older adults no longer commute, attend regular meetings, or follow a packed schedule. Days become quieter, less structured, and without those external time cues, your circadian rhythm begins to drift forward. That peaceful evening, the dim lights, soft music, a bit of reading, can encourage your brain to start producing melatonin earlier, even if you're not trying to fall asleep yet. Before you know it, you're asleep by 8:30 or 9 p.m., and by 3 a.m., your body thinks it's time to start the day. Let's consider Rita, a 70-year-old former teacher. Since retiring, her evenings have become slower and quieter. She eats dinner by 5:30, watches TV, and is usually asleep before 9. At first, she was confused by her 3 a.m. wake-ups, but soon realized her whole day had shifted earlier without her noticing. Once Rita added a daily walk after dinner, a bit more light exposure during the afternoon, and an engaging puzzle game in the evening, she found herself staying up just an hour later and sleeping through until 5 or 6 a.m. The key isn't forcing your body to do something unnatural. It's gently shaping your habits so your internal clock lines up with the sleep schedule that works best for your life today. Number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried by the busyness of daily life can start to surface, especially during the quiet of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is still, often become the stage where unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You may find yourself lying awake, not because of noise, pain, or physical discomfort, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't even realize were still with you. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety that might strike in youth. It's quieter, more reflective, like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when not actively engaged, often reaches backward into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And because the body is no longer rushing from one responsibility to another, there's space for those thoughts to echo a little louder. It's also important to recognize that loneliness can play a role in these early wake-ups. For many older adults, social circles shrink with time, children move away, friends become busy, and routines change. The daytime might be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings quiet, and with it, an awareness of that emotional gap. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it shows up simply as a desire for connection or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider someone like Gloria, who's 80 and widowed. During the day she stays busy, tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But when the evening quiet settles in, She's left with the space to reflect on her life, both the things she's proud of and the things she misses most. At 3 a.m., Gloria might find herself wide awake, not because she's physically uncomfortable, but because her mind is wandering back to memories or moments of loss. Her thoughts, not quite ready to rest, keep her company in the stillness of the night. But around 3 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts returning to moments she shared with her late husband or to worries she keeps tucked away during the daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but over time she came to understand that her early waking wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she sometimes writes down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does all this at 3 a.m. when everything else is quiet. But that's not a flaw. That's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not just your memories, but your very sense of self. Rather than seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What do you need to give voice to? What part of you needs a little grace, even in the dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a richer understanding of yourself in this stage of life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in your internal clock, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, an emotional rhythm that only shows itself when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different lens through which to understand your early morning wake-ups, and none of them point to something wrong or broken. In fact, they each reveal how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through this stage of life. There's a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to say, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Rather than seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as a nuisance, you might begin to see them as messages, gentle signals, reminding you to listen a little more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You're not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own rhythms. If you've recognized yourself in any of these reasons today, know that you're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes a chance to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to greet each morning with a bit more understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.